This is continuing flood alert coverage from 24-hour News 8.
Right now at 11 o'clock, mandatory evacuations, homes flooded, roads destroyed. Tonight, all eyes are on the Grand River. How high will it get? How much more destruction will it cause? It won't stop rising until sometime this weekend. Already, hundreds of people are being forced to leave their homes.
The water is starting to go in my house. That's all I have.
A lot of people distraught tonight. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Susan Shaw.
And I'm Brian Sterling, live in front of the Ford Presidential Museum here on the banks of the Grand River in downtown Grand Rapids, where usually at this time of the year, everything's in bloom. Well, the only thing growing tonight is the water level on the Grand. I can tell you right now, it's halfway up the slope here at Anabawan Park. All of the pedestrian walkways are submerged. And as I drove down here tonight, they're already using generators to pump water out of the basement of the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel parking garage. So downtown is feeling the effects of the flooding tonight, 2 days before the river is expected to crest. It is a story that has consumed us all day long, and we have team coverage for you again tonight. But before we get too far down the road, we do want to bring in Chief Meteorologist Bill Steffen, who's down here at the museum with me. And Bill, at least it stopped raining.
It is, and boy, that's amazing to see what's out here. Behind me is where I sit and watch the fireworks on the 4th of July. The water's 4 to 5 feet deep. Good news is, though, the rain has stopped temporarily and no heavy rain is expected over the next several days. We'll take a look at Storm Track Live. There is still some rain moving through areas south and east of Grand Rapids at the current time. You can see that right now stretching from the Chicago area, just east of Chicago, up to around the Benton Harbor area. And if you were to draw a line there from about South Haven to north of Lansing, that area is still picking up some rain. Could pick up an additional 1/4 of an inch of rain here overnight tonight. That shouldn't affect river levels too much, that much of additional rain. There are a few sprinkles of rain out over the lake, which will be coming on through. We'll have a chance for a few sprinkles here during the day tomorrow. When you wake up tomorrow during the morning, you're going to find temperatures down into the low to mid 40s and a pretty stiff wind, 20 to 30 miles an hour is going to develop. A few sprinkles of rain may change to a few snowflakes late in the day as some pretty cold air comes on in. And we'll talk about how fast the winds are going to be tomorrow in just a few minutes.
All right, we're looking forward to that forecast. Thank you, Bill. It is soggy. A lot of people watching and waiting now, but at least the good news is that it stopped raining. Sue?
That is good news. Brian, Bill, thank you. Meteorologist Kyle Underwood is here right now with updated forecasts on how high river levels will get.
New information late this evening, forecast data from the National Weather Service, because they produced the forecast for the river flooding situation, and the forecasts have come down a little bit. So we're glad that's going on, but unfortunately, Comstock Park, Robinson Township, number of spots along the Grand, this is still likely going to be an all-time record flood for these areas. So it's a very serious situation. I want to show you what we're forecasting here and some of the observations and forecasts that we're getting from the National Weather Service. We're going to start with the Grand River here and focus on some of the hot spots here. Comstock Park is one of these places where we're expecting all-time flooding conditions here. I want to show you what it looks like here in terms of flooding. Yeah, I'm not getting any cooperation from here, from the system here. In terms of flooding, it looks like the rivers are going to continue to rise here over the next 24 hours. National Weather Service forecast predicting a crest coming up here by sometime into Saturday afternoon or early Sunday. And you can see here, this is exceeding the all-time record high set back in 1948. So again, a record-setting flood here for Comstock Park. Downtown Grand Rapids, we're dealing with at least serious, moderate, if not major flooding. That arrives here Sunday and will probably be tying the all-time record crest set back in 2005 here in Robinson Township here along the Grand River. Also want to highlight the Muskegon River near Croton Dam. A lot of talk about the stability of things up there. It looks like we're not going to be anywhere near the 1986 record here, which is great news. And also good news out of Rockford tonight. The forecast for flooding here has been decreased. We will still have at least moderate to major impacts, but it doesn't look like we're going to break the all-time record high flood set back in 1986.
All right, Kyle, thank you. So it's bad. It could have been worse, but still tonight there are worries, and a call is going out for volunteers tonight to fill sandbags, this to help keep water, the Grand River, out of the water treatment plant. And 24-hour News 8's Henry Erb is live tonight at the place that volunteers are being urged to go tomorrow. Henry?
Brian, this is 660 Market Street Southwest, the sewage department maintenance garage. There's plenty of sand here for filling sandbags. The rising river is behind that flood wall right across the street. City workers were already filling sandbags here today. We're told the sandbags will add to the protection provided by the flood walls along the Grand River, which is expected to crest this weekend at a record level. The West Michigan Environmental Action Council put out the call for volunteers tonight. They are looking for between 30 and 60 people to show up here tomorrow morning.
The volunteers are asked that are volunteering tomorrow morning to be there at 8 a.m. 660 Market Southwest is where they would meet, and they should plan to stay until the job is done. So not sure how long that would be, but it's something that is obviously going to take a while.
And they're also looking for volunteers to be on standby on Saturday in case they need more sandbags filled. Just down the street from us is a sewage treatment plant where we are told that heavy equipment was working today to build up levees around the plant to keep the river out. If the high water takes out critical electrical equipment there, it could cause that plant to shut down for several days, and the mayor today said that that could create a public health problem. We are live on Market Street. Henry Earp, 24 Hour News 8.
Our flood walls are designed to handle 100-year floods plus a margin, a 1 foot margin of error, if you will, or freeboard. So we don't expect that the river is going to crest the flood walls.
And that is Grand Rapids Mayor George Hartwell saying that he doesn't expect the river to breach the flood walls here in downtown Grand Rapids. Will that prediction hold? We want to bring in Mark Walton from the National Weather Service. He is a hydrologist. We spoke with him last night on 24 Hour News 8 at 11. Mark joins us over the telephone tonight. Mark, do you think the mayor's prediction will hold true that the flood walls will keep the water at bay here?
Yes, we do at this time.
Give us your prediction now. You've downgraded some of your predictions from last night, have you not?
Yes, that's correct. We've got a lot less precipitation today than we anticipated, so all the forecasts have been downgraded. Currently, the crest for downtown Grand Rapids is at 23.3 feet, and that's to occur on Sunday evening.
Historically, though, that's still a record, isn't it?
Yes, that will still set an all-time record. The previous record was at 19.64 feet.
A lot of the video that we saw today, Mark, had to do with these smaller creeks, the tributaries that were overflowing. Do you think that that part of the problem will at least subside now?
So usually our smaller creeks and streams tend to crest within 24 hours, so that should start to subside as the precipitation moves out of the area.
And some of the more trouble spots upriver and downriver from here, particularly Comstock Park, is it too late for those folks?
So for the areas that are upstream and downstream, we're still looking at record crest at Comstock Park of 18.2 feet to occur on Sunday, and then down at Robinson Township, crest of 18.4 on Monday. So river levels are already pretty high in those areas.
It is indeed. Mark Walton with the National Weather Service, hydrologist there, making the predictions for us tonight. We're watching it here from the banks of the Grand River, where it's, if you close your eyes, Sue, it feels like you're out at Lake Michigan.
Honestly, so much water down there. Brian, thank you so much. Now to a place without flood walls, the north side of Grand Rapids near Comstock Park. The flooding is already intense there, and 24 Hour News 8's Marley Ginter joins us live with what's happening in that location.
I'm standing at the bottom of a hill right now because I want to show you just how far back the riverbank is. It's actually 3 houses back, so that's how much this water has come up to, because I'm standing at the edge of the water right now. Since we've been out here again tonight, we've watched more people leaving their house in a canoe. So it is just a soggy mess all over the city.
Cindy Moore won't be sleeping in her house tonight. Surrounded by water, Moore's grandson had to bring a boat to her front door so she could escape.
Personally, I never seen a flood this big, but it's pretty big.
Moore lives near Briggs and Elmdale Northeast, where the Grand River spilled its banks. Neighbors helped each other get as much stuff out of their homes as possible, prepared for the water to rise even more.
You just never know what the Grand River is going to do.
Know where you're walking down there today?
Not today, no. It's probably waist deeper down that far.
Rob Diaz walks his dog this way every day. He's lived here for 30 years and has never seen it come up this far. And when the Grand crests this weekend, the National Weather Service warns you'll see even more major flooding in neighborhoods.
It's just part of nature. I mean, it's part of life. You just put up with it and stuff, but he wouldn't trade it because people love living by the river.
I don't know. I'm going to have to wait till the water goes down and then he can bring me back.
And you can see out here where the water has come up on those mailboxes. It's actually risen even more since we were out here earlier at 6 o'clock tonight. So it may be some time before people can get back out to their homes here. On the north side, Marley Ginter, 24-Hour News 8. Sue?
Okay, Marley, thank you. In Ionia County, rushing waters on small creeks leading to the Grand River are causing massive problems, even taking out roads. 24-Hour News 8's Heather Walker is there surveying the damage, and she joins us live tonight. Heather?
Hey, Sue. Yeah, road signs out here say road closed, but that's because if you take a look behind me, there is no road. It's actually been washed away by the creek. Some of the roads still hanging on here, but people living here say this is the worst flooding they've seen.
Crazy. Quite an event.
Just in front of James Rath's home on Lincoln Avenue, a car fell into the Bellamy Creek. Rushing water washed away the ground underneath and the road collapsed. The driver was okay, but it created quite a spectacle. Even after the car was lifted out, people came to see and snap pictures.
It's a disaster. Disaster struck.
Caleb Carr took pictures to show his grandpa.
I think he's gonna be amazed that the entire road just washed out.
Barriers and road closed signs went up around Ionia County. Chad Schulten lives on West Main near Turkey Trail and noticed his road breaking off, so he went out to warn drivers until the county came.
I just didn't want nobody to fall in it, so I was standing out here sitting on the rail just directing traffic around this edge. We seen school buses go over and you could see the whole thing just.
After all this rain, the sun was a welcome sight.
It's going to take a lot of sunny, clear skies to help clean up this mess. County says it's going to be a while before these roads are reopened. They have to wait until the water goes back down. Live in Ionia County, Heather Walker, 24-Hour News 8.
Heather, thank you for that. If you were watching our broadcast at 5 and 6 tonight, you probably caught some of the heartbreaking images coming out of a Granville retirement community where residents there had to be evacuated because of a flooding Buck Creek. Brookcrest Retirement Community had to evacuate 122 residents. Water flowing into the facility today. The residents, many of whom were in wheelchairs, had to be taken to different facilities. There are some mandatory evacuations in Wyoming tonight. 50 people in the Ideal Park area were evacuated by boat, and 70 homes in the Creekside Estates Parks and Lodge were evacuated. For Wyoming residents not affected by the evacuations, city officials are asking that they limit any unnecessary water use. And upstream, there are also problems along the Muskegon River in both Newaygo and Muskegon counties. Our crews were out today downstream of the Croton Dam. The river was up an entire foot. And those who live there tell us they're getting ready for the worst.
Yeah, I've got things elevated. 32 inches, I'm above 32 inches with everything. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that's going to be good.
Some of the images today, I don't think there was any community in West Michigan that dodged the water bullet today. Water was everywhere, and we were all hit, Sue.
Absolutely. And when you talked with that hydrologist earlier, of course, he's saying that it's going to get even higher.
Right. The river down here won't crest for another couple of days, but the good thing is that they're downsizing that forecast. Still record levels, but not as bad as they thought it was going to be.
That's the good news. Okay, Brian, thank you. We are just learning that Park Place Apartments near 28th Street and Eastern in Grand Rapids is being evacuated right now. Rapid buses are taking people who live there to Red Cross shelters. There are several shelters open tonight across West Michigan. In Kent County, the Kentwood Activity Center and Alpine Baptist Church are both open. There are also shelters open in Ionia, Hudsonville, and Fremont. A couple of closures we're already getting for tomorrow. Belding, Ionia, and Granville schools will all be closed. And Amway's world headquarters in Ada will be closed through Monday. There are dozens of road closures tonight. We want to highlight one. Chicago Drive is closed in 2 spots at Port Sheldon near Hudsonville and I-196 in Granville. You'll need to avoid those areas in the morning. We do have several more road closures, of course. They're posted right now at woodtv.com. Tomorrow morning on Daybreak, the full team will be here once again. We'll also be talking live with Grand Rapids Mayor George Hartwell about how the city is dealing with the rising floodwaters. Daybreak starts at 4:30 a.m. Make sure and stay with us. We'll get you updated on other stories that we're tracking for you tonight and have your full 8-day forecast as our coverage of this flood alert continues.
Watching out for you. This is Storm Team 8.
Once again, this is Bill Steffen live at Obnabowin Park, right in front of the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum. And behind me, you see the Grand River. Like many of you have probably never seen it before, well above flood stage over much of the Kent County area, and the river's still climbing as well. We've had 4.27 inches of rain in 28 hours. That's a tremendous amount of rain, 9 inches of rain in about 10 days, and we have had measurable rain 13 days in a row, and that's what's brought the river up to this level. Let's take a look at Storm Track Live. We still have some rain that we're tracking. The heaviest rain will stay just southeast of Grand Rapids here overnight tonight. A couple of sprinkles coming through Grand Rapids now, but as you take a look at the yellow that you see right there, if you were to draw a line from about Benton Harbor to around the Alma area, that crosses through the southeast part of Kent County there. That's where the more significant rain is going to be. There's some spots there that may pick up yet a quarter of an inch or a little bit more than that overnight tonight. That additional rain probably not affecting the river level too much. During the day tomorrow, we'll see a few sprinkles of rain, and that may change over to a couple snowflakes by late in the day. Let's take a look then at temperatures across the area. We're still 62 in Grand Rapids, but look at the cooler air along the lakeshore, just 46 now at Grand Haven. As our winds go west here during the day tomorrow, that colder air is going to filter in, and much of the day tomorrow temperatures will only be in the low 40s. Wind certainly a factor during the day tomorrow. You can see the wind south at 20 right now. Wind advisory in effect tomorrow, and that should bring in some pretty stiff winds. We're expecting gusts to 40 to 50 miles an hour. Here's how we break it down for you tomorrow morning. 44 degrees early morning. There is a chance for a sprinkle of rain. Watch out for wet roads out there and some water across some roads. We're tracking some showers for tonight. Heaviest again southeast of Grand Rapids, especially down toward Battle Creek. Very windy tomorrow, 45 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. And then hooray, a dry weekend coming up. The puddles may freeze with temperatures a little bit below freezing Saturday and Sunday morning. 24-hour forecast looks like this. The heavier rain this evening from Grand Rapids off to the south and east pushes east early morning. Some breaks in the clouds in 44. By noon, a few sprinkles, maybe a couple of flurries mix in. We're at 42. We hold in the low 40s in the afternoon with a chance of just a few scattered flurries. So here's the way it looks over the next 8 days. A couple of cold days coming up here. High temperatures only low 40s tomorrow, mid 40s on Saturday. A little bit warmer Sunday afternoon. Good news is most of tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, will be dry. Hopefully we can get that river starting back the other direction, but still very high. Be very careful in the morning. There'll be water on roads. Observe those road closure signs.
And with the winds blowing tomorrow, the ground's so saturated, watch out for
branches coming down. Don't park your car under a tree too, because there may be some tree damage tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill. 24-hour News 8 at 11 will continue in a moment.
Police are working tonight to identify the body of a man pulled out of the Grand River this morning. Grand Valley Marina operator Jeff Knoll and an employee found the body near the 1200 block of Jackson Avenue in Grand Haven. The body is of a white male. We're told that he was wearing a T-shirt with an American flag on it and had a tattoo on one leg. Authorities say the case doesn't appear to be related to the city of Grand Haven. Detectives are working with other agencies to identify the man. The autopsy is pending. The FBI has released security video and photos showing 2 suspects in the Boston Marathon bombing. The FBI is asking for the public's help in identifying the 2 men. We brought it to you live in our 5 o'clock show today. The feds say that one of the suspects is believed to have planted the devices near the finish line. He says both suspects are considered armed and, of course, extremely dangerous. The 2 explosions at Monday's marathon killed 3 people, including an 8-year-old boy. Make sure and stay with us. Sports is coming up next.
It's easy to look at the schedule and check off games as wins or losses based on who you're playing, but the bottom line is you just never know with the Detroit Lions. But we can officially put 2012 behind us with the release of the 2013 schedule this evening. opening up the year against divisional rival Minnesota, followed with a few games on the road in Arizona and Washington. First look at the new-look Bears is September 29th with a run-in with the Pack straight after. Browns and Bengals, and then the Cowboys coming into Detroit before time off for the bye. The second half of the year a little more difficult on the road in Chicago and then in Pittsburgh against the Steelers before coming back home for 2. Bucks first, and then the Thanksgiving Day tradition, Green Bay in town, possibly some throwback jerseys in that mix. Week 14 is the Philadelphia Chip Kelly Eagles, and then the Super Bowl champion Ravens come to Detroit for the one and only Monday night showdown. The New York Football Giants are followed, and then they finish the year like they started against the Vikings. Complete list with dates and times of the games on woodtv.com. After last year's build-up and expectations on expanding a successful 2011 season, the Lion Kool-Aid may not be running so freely at the water coolers. Still, Lions GM Martin Mayhew knows the team's in a good spot today. He wrapped up the team's pre-draft meetings with an idea of where they want to go in next week's NFL draft. Obviously, the 5th pick is important, but Mayhew isn't overlooking winning the draft in the later rounds.
I think we're prepared to make a pick there. Also, as you know, we like to keep our options open, so we're ready to move back or do whatever. So, for us right now, it's really we've vetted that part of the process, and we're looking deeper into the draft and looking deeper into some other guys.
On the Diamond Tigers going for the series sweep against the Mariners after a 14-inning win last night. Had the ace JD on the mound, and he had some pretty good stuff today. Went 7 innings and struck out 12, but the Mariners getting to him in the 7th scoreless game. That's Kyle Seager with a double into left. Runner going to score. The next batter, Endy Chavez, going to bring Seager home from second. There was a play at the plate. They called him safe. Tigers lose it 2-0. The final, they are in Los Angeles tomorrow, 10:05, to take on the Angels. Last check at weather when we come back.
Well, here's the good news. The heavy rain is done. We're still dealing with some light rain tonight south and east of Grand Rapids. That's going to wind down here overnight. A few sprinkles tomorrow. Might even see a few snow flurries mix in, but the heavy accumulating rain is done. We're not expecting any snow to stick to the ground. Even though the rain has stopped or is going to stop, the river levels on the big rivers are going to continue to rise as we head into the weekend.
Yeah, and the crest is on Sunday, is what they're telling us. Okay, thanks for joining us tonight. Daybreak starts at 4:30.